Now it's time to take a look at what's coming up on Meet the Press. Chuck Todd is the moderator of Meet the Press, and he joins us live this morning. Hey, Chuck, good morning.
Good morning, Hannah.
So leaders of North and South Korea, they met again this weekend, but when it comes to the potential summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un, it's kind of feeling like whiplash. It's been going back and forth. What is going on?
Right. Well, I think what you have here is you have a whole bunch of people around, but it's going to happen this summer.
Yeah, complicated indeed, but maybe where there's a will, there's a way. And Chuck, there's also been some strong reaction to the NFL after the league announced a rule this week that would fine players for kneeling during the national anthem. What's your takeaway from all of this?
Look, I think the NFL ended up making a decision it didn't need to do this policy sooner rather than later.
Well, we will definitely have to wait and see what happens, Chuck. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You can see much more coming up right after NBC Connecticut Today. Meet the Press airs at 10:30. It's now time to take a look at what's coming up this morning on Meet the Press. Chuck Todd is the moderator of Meet the Press, and he joins us live right now. Good morning, Chuck. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Morning, Hannah.
Well, okay, so this week, Chuck, an unexpected news that Justice Anthony Kennedy will retire from the Supreme Court at the end of the month. What's your take on what will happen now with the Supreme Court?
Well, look, I think the president's going to get an opportunity. The caution I'd have out there, folks making these predictions about where this court is headed.
Good caution to heed. Chuck, we also saw major upset this week when a Democratic House leader lost his primary to a 28-year-old progressive woman in a district that he's actually held for the last 20 years. I think the last time he even had a primary challenger was back in 2004. So what does this mean for the Democratic Party and especially for its leadership?
Well, and that's exactly what it is. This was less about what happened in New York City and more about what exposed of the Democratic Party. Do they have any idea how to combat Trump in this era?
And maybe this will spark some change. Yeah. Thank you, Chuck.
See.
Yeah, we'll see. Thank you so much. You can see much more coming up right after NBC Connecticut. Today, Meet the Press airs at 10:30 a.m. Time now to take a look at what's coming up on this morning on Meet the Press. Chuck Todd, he is the moderator of Meet the Press, and he joins us live right now. Good morning, Chuck. Thanks so much for being with us.
Good morning, Hannah.
So, Chuck, we saw the president escalate in his attacks this week against the media, against Robert Mueller, and even against LeBron James. Can you explain some of this rhetoric?
Well, look, one of the patterns of President Trump is for these slew of attacks.
It makes sense. It's hard to keep up with all of it. But, Chuck, potential 2020 Democrats had their first audition for progressives this week, while we also saw President Trump on the trail with several Republican candidates. How will both of the parties' bases actually affect these midterms?
Well, I think that's one big part of trying to figure out which party has the advantage. All the evidence says in 2018 they look pretty unified.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see, I guess. Thank you so much, Chuck.
Yeah.
You can see
All right,
much
Hannah,
more coming up right after NBC Connecticut Today.